Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's AMA. I'm just going to check in the Telegram group if someone can confirm that I am audible and that you can hear me around the world. Anyone? Can anyone hear me?
I don't think you are, Owen. I'm listening in, and we can't hear you.
Anyone? No, follow said I can be heard. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to get started, guys. Welcome to today's AMA. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Good moment. We're going to get started now, and we're going to unfortunately not have any input from Herman today. Herman has been feeling a bit unwell since yesterday, and I think it's the first time he's taken a day off in maybe 2 years. So I think we'll just wish him well and excuse his absence today. But I think that hopefully he'll give more updates in the next couple of days when he's back on his feet, and we can kind of get more insight into what's going on a technical level, and I can give some strategic updates. But as always, Herman's the main man for telling us about exactly what's going on. Unfortunately, as well, we can't today have the Unigate guys online today as well. We wanted to have them in one of the AMAs, the last one and even the one before, but unfortunately it hasn't been possible because they're really ramping up where they are at the moment in terms of their B2C launch. As most of you guys know, they're already B2B, business to business launched, and they're already processing quite a large amount of transactions each week, hundreds of thousands, I believe, if not millions. So that's going quite well on their end. But it's a case where they're very stuck into the work that they're doing and haven't been able to spare some time to join us in the AMA yet. I hope that next week this might be the case and they'll be able to join us because it's a very exciting project. What we're going to do today to make listening in worthwhile is we're going to talk you through in detail more of the aspects of what's going on with Cherry, with Seedling, and with Cherish. We're going to have a bit of an extended discussion of more niche issues in these ecosystem projects over the next 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and we'll be able to give you a bit of a deep dive on what's going on in some of the interesting initiatives that are being launched at the moment. As I said, Unigate and Cherish are preparing for launch. Marv will give you more details about the Cherish launch. And as I said, next week, hopefully we'll get a very complete and comprehensive analysis of how things are looking for Unigate and their impending and upcoming launch in the next few weeks. Very exciting time for the project. We're really looking forward to seeing where we stand in, I would say, 8 weeks from now. You'll really start to see the rubber hit the road, so to speak, and the traction that the Cherry network will have in terms of all the things that are going on. Because it's not just a project like many projects that just build hype around a white paper or maybe a small amount of development work. We're really focused behind the scenes, spending very long hours per week, bringing forward the business ecosystem in terms of partnerships, in terms of our investments, in terms of what projects we're incubating, and in terms of the technical development on the chain itself. So it's very exciting. We're very optimistic and positive within the team, and we hope over the next 30 minutes or so to be able to share some of those aspects with you. The first thing I'm going to do, just to give you an idea of the agenda, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through an interesting initiative that we're about to launch. We've refined some aspects of it. We'd hoped to launch, I think, 2 weeks ago, but we're going to launch it probably on Friday, maybe at the very latest next Monday, but I hope that it will just be on Friday because we have all the content done. We have two very accomplished thought leaders in our head of content, Paul, and the Seedling project lead, Diego. And they've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of thought and given a lot of expertise to make the course content as high quality as possible. We have a very accomplished set of developers, including Herman and Mark, who is actually a member of the community who came on board and has been working with us for the last couple of months to make the Learn platform, which is attached to Cherry Labs, to make that platform, to make the Learn platform as engaging and as high quality as possible. There are some other initiatives by other projects, which are quite good in their own right, which I might mention in a little while. But I don't think that they give a very complete and accessible insight into what crypto is like from the inside. So what we want to do is, instead of people having to go and pay some Twitter influencer for supposedly secret career and industry knowledge, which is a bit of a scam in my opinion, we want to share the experience of the almost 100 people that work in Cherry and tell you how things really work in the industry, you know, in a project that is you know, on the cutting edge of technology and best in class in certain aspects of crypto technology. So what I want to do is just briefly recap how the platform works, what it involves. Then John, my colleague, is going to help me go through a bit of a demo, a live sneak peek of the platform itself. Now, there are certain aspects. It is still a work in progress. So there are certain T's that need to be crossed and I's that need to be dotted. There are a couple of visual aspects that aren't exactly where they need to be, and it needs to be tightened up. But the content is there, and we'll just take you through how a course. We have the overall platform divided up into different courses. So we'll look through a part of one of the courses, and you can get an insight into what's going to be released in the next couple of days, I hope. Thereafter, I'm going to hand you over to Diego, and Diego's going to talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that are happening on the Seedling side. Then I'm going to speak to Marv about some of the interesting things that are happening with Cherish. Then at the end, I'm going to recap some of the interesting things that have happened in the Cherry diary itself. So we'll go back to Cherry and talk a little bit about what some of the cool things that we're working on at the moment. And then finally, of course, we'll go to the quiz. And I believe that John has some pretty cool questions lined up, so all our quiz masters can get involved there. With regards to the quiz, what we're trying to do is automate all of the prize distributions, and it kind of hasn't worked. So I think that I'm going to have to just manually send out rewards. Today, I think there's probably 5 people who over the past 2 or 3 weeks who haven't been paid, mainly due to technical issues. So I'll get back to those people today, and everybody will be paid by the end of the day, I hope. And then finally, with regards to community, there are a number of very generous and talented people who have graciously offered their time to help us kind of beta test some of the Cherry Learn platform. I'd hoped to send content over to them a couple of weeks ago, but there was so much tweaking to be done on the content side that I decided to wait. So I'm actually going to send that out this evening as well. So if anybody in that group, any of the volunteers, have time over the next 24, 36 hours to have a look through some of the content, we'd be very grateful. So I suppose, yeah, that's the agenda. I've been talking a bit too long now, so I'm going to jump straight in. And in the next 5 minutes, we're going to go over the Cherry Learn platform, and we're going to give you a sneak peek of that. And then thereafter, I'll hand you over to Diego, and he'll tell you some cool stuff that's happening with Seedling at the moment. So, first of all, John, while you're getting the the live stream or whatever it's called of the website itself. I'm going to just talk to people about what actually happens within the Cherry Learn initiative. Diego, actually, if I make any mistakes, then feel free to jump in and correct me, because I'm sure there's something along the line that I'll probably misremember. So basically, we have different companies, different projects within the Cherry umbrella. You probably know of most of the most prominent ones: Seedling, Bunkers, Cherish, Cherry itself, and Cherry Labs would be the incubator that oversees all of these different projects. Unigate as well, and a number of others. Many that haven't launched yet, that actually have a lot of work gone into them, and a team behind them, which we haven't released from stealth mode yet. So there's plenty more to talk about in the near future. Each of these the projects that I mentioned a moment ago will have a faculty attached to them, so to speak. So investing in Web3 is the name of the faculty. Like, faculty is like a department in a university. So you have the university itself, and then you have different faculties. And the ones that we're going to launch this week, or maybe on Monday if we're too slow, the ones that we're going to launch this week are investing in Web3 and blockchain fundamentals. Investing in Web3 is essentially a Seedling initiative, and blockchain fundamentals is a Cherry initiative. Within each faculty, there are a number of courses. So each course will probably have about 5 lessons. So there's lessons in courses, and then the courses are within a faculty. At the end of each course, there'll be a short quiz. We've set up the quiz to be kind of gamified, so you'll get feedback on how you did. You don't need to do the quiz if you don't want to. If you know everything already, then you don't need to spend time on the quiz, or if it's a bit too hard, then you can just browse through if you want as well anyway. But it's certainly something that, if you're interested in really actually getting to know the nuts and bolts and the important aspects of blockchain, Web3, crypto, whatever, this is a very good opportunity to test yourself, because the more you test yourself, the more you actually absorb. That's something that most people have realized when it comes to education. So John has the screen thing ready. So what I'm going to do is I need to turn off my camera, because I'm going to be looking at the screen itself so I can go through. And then I'll be back on screen with you guys now in a second. So I'll just stop video. There we are. John, is that up?
It's up.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not actually going to look along with you guys on the screen because there's a bit of a lag. So I'll just jump into cherrylabs.org here. Give me 1 second. And we'll have a quick look at what we've been working on for weeks now. Okay, so John, could you leave your, yeah, I'm just going to ask you a question just so, and maybe you give me feedback so I know that you've navigated to the right place. That's okay. Okay, so we're going to have a sign-in function. Of course, this is for free. You will never be charged at all. In fact, actually taking part, you might actually earn money. We might put a learn to earn dimension to this at some point. So as you see on the homepage, it looks quite nice in my opinion. We have the 2 faculties I mentioned, blockchain and investing in Web3. Interesting introductions there, descriptions. We're going to jump into the investing in Web3 faculty because that's the most complete as of now. Okay, so, and as I said, there's a couple of text fields and stuff that we're yet to fill out properly, but this is good to give you guys a sneak peek in the meantime. So we have 2 courses here. at the top, you'll see investing in Web3. And then down below, you have the initial token offering and launch pads. So I'm going to jump into, these are the courses themselves. So within initial token offering, we have our description here. And then we have, I think we've got 6. Yeah, we've got 6 different lessons. And we might browse through the first one. Yeah, please. Sorry, change of plan there. We'll just jump into the first one and I'll show them that. Just scroll up and down a little bit. At the bottom, you can see next. So hit the next button. Initial coin offering. The text is a bit dense. It's pretty to the point and succinct. But we really take people from the very, very basics of crypto and then bring them all the way through to, it might seem quite simple at the start and it might seem like, oh, I know all of this already. But I think I can assure you that almost everyone will learn something from this course. No matter how long you've been investing in cryptocurrencies, you'll learn some terms that you couldn't even really get much information on if you Googled them. And that's why we actually initially wanted to do this initiative, because it's very kind of, it fills a lot of the gaps in the available information resources that are out there on the web. So we'll go along, and then you can see as well, at the bottom there, we're going to click straight into pros and cons of token offerings. So we're trying to make the information educational and encyclopedic in nature. And that means that it's not just articles that are, our opinion that you might read on some of the bigger sites. There is a place for that, but this is supposed to be raw, unbiased information. And as you can see, if you scroll down, there's actually quite a lot of information in this. It's quite impressive, actually. And Paul and Diego have put a lot of work into this, and it really, really reflects well on our community that we have this kind of resource, I think. So I think that's it. I'm going to put back on my camera now. And I'm also going to just briefly check to see if anybody has any questions about the yeah, okay, so we didn't see any questions about the university, so I'll just push on. So yeah, it's quite promising, and it's quite a good initiative. We spent a lot of time on it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the sneak peek that we could show. And I think that within by the end of this week, or maybe early next week, we'll have more, or we'll actually do the release itself. Okay, that probably took a little bit too long. I wanted it to be brief, but hopefully it was interesting. And on that note, I'm going to hand you over to Diego now, and Diego will give you a cool insight into some of the interesting things that are happening with Seedling at the moment. Want to go ahead, Diego?
Yeah, hello guys, this is Diego. Hopefully, even though Herman won't be available for today's call, we can still make it interesting and give our cool updates. As always, I'll go over the updates regarding Seedling. The first thing before would be giving you guys a big thank you. It seems like Seedling is having a very good retention rate in regards to holders, and even loyal seedlers are bagging up even more SDLN each time. So appreciate all these kind of messages I've received recently, both in the Seedling Spanish chat and even in Cherish Spanish chat, which is always very active. But going on to the news and weekly update, I want to briefly explain the development of a marketing campaign, which hopefully should bring loads of attention and awareness to Seedling's platform. With regards to this marketing campaign, I can say that it will be based on 3 main parts, and they are all connected in between each other to feed back from one to another. in order to reach a bigger audience. The first one is that we're going to look at ways to better position the brand Seedling. We're reviewing some, let's call it aggressive marketing hooks that could potentially make our USP, or let's say our value proposition, stand out and bring people in. Since we know that people are here and are not leaving Seedling, which is a very difficult thing to do. Therefore, our new focus is to bring new people in and to get to new people to know the project. So the first thing is the positioning of the brand. And people that have done digital marketing or just marketing before will know that putting ourselves as the best, or at least the top tier in certain area, is always a very, very easy way to get more interaction. Launchpad space has become a very competitive one, and you either stand out or it's very difficult to grow. So this is what we're trying to do in Seedling, give more interest to our differentiators in order to get more attention for all those people that value these differentiators over the rest. After all, and something history has kind of taught us, both in crypto and in traditional market, is that you either have the first mover advantage or you have a clear competitive advantage, and you're able to market it properly if you want to have a real successful product or service. So I think I have some good ideas that we could potentially bring to our Launchpad users directly to Seedling. So I hope people are actually understanding our vision and the values here in Seedling, and are actually understanding what I'm trying to explain here, even though it's not a direct update, but more of a theoretical plan of what will happen or what is going over in our heads for the upcoming weeks. The second part of the marketing campaign, and briefly mentioned on last AMA by Eoghan, I could not make it on the last AMA, I believe, is the KOL program. So the influencers or communities involved in this initiative don't have to be huge or super famous. We're pretty much happy to open our doors to anyone that's wanting to be involved and spread the Seedling word to their community. Here, the first part of the positioning will be shared in this second part of the marketing campaign, which will feed back our competitive advantage point, plus the generic brand awareness the KOL will bring us. We are preparing some incentivized packages for KOLs, and we'll validate them publicly in order to establish what we think could be a very fruitful long-term relationship with them. And then the third part of this campaign will involve some new partners. In this case, we are taking a slightly different approach to how it's usually done in the space. We're trying to collaborate directly with what others would call competition, other launchpads, VCs, pre-sale communities. And that's what, so basically, I'm finishing a very interesting book by Sun Tzu, which is a Chinese military strategist and general. This book is called The Art of War. I don't know if some of you have read it. It talks about how the most efficient way to win a war is not by winning the fight, but by winning without even fighting. And this book can be extrapolated nowadays to the corporate world, and it's actually being extrapolated by politicians and many actual executives. And if we treat the, let's say, crypto winter as a war against the market and not against our fellow competitors, and ally with other investor groups and collaborate, we could potentially create some synergistic win-to-win situations. And this is a very generic overview of the last point of this marketing campaign. So creating new synergistic partnerships by sharing resources with other investment companies. We still have to evaluate how possible this is and the reaction to the potential collaborators, and see if some of them share our same view in this market. So that was all for the marketing campaign. I hope you guys can see and understood our main areas of focus here. I know I have explained it in a less concise and strict form, but since it's still being developed, I thought it would be more transparent to show where our head is at right now and share our thoughts of work and what we are working on to directly benefit the community of seedlers. And now I just wanted to recap our last month's work. We successfully launched Wheatley, and we recently closed the only community sale seed round for Lumi. So unless you're a big VC Seedling was the only platform that made Lumi seed round available for retail purchase. And as you all know, for a very low condition or very low requirements of blocking some SDLN or burning for an astonishing 50x return in allocation. So other than these two projects, we have now received a couple of offers, which we are evaluating. We don't want to risk or lower our diligence level with projects. So as always, we will be reviewing and listing projects that strictly follow our high requirements and that pass our high filters. What else? In the last 30 days, we have developed the Seedling research document, which have received I can say a great feedback, and which will be continuing to be done for all our projects. We have also grown our team in order to specialize and have some people specialize in certain areas. We have also thought of many other, well, let's say initiatives which we would keep adding new functionality, added value, and even security to our platform. I will surely share this with you soon as we start working on them and have some stuff ready to show. And just to finish off and briefly mention the university initiative, as Owen just went through, Seedling has put in what I think some very great work. The courses on Seedling will start with some simple informative lessons. And as we keep adding content, there will be a variety of stuff you guys can go over. Very cool stuff written by our content writer team, which are doing a very great job. We'll have, as Owen mentioned, some very small quizzes just at the end for you guys to test out your knowledge and keep on learning more and more. Once the platform is out, which I believe it will be soon, we would love to hear some feedback from you guys and see the response to it, and any valuable feedback you guys can give us. And that's pretty much been all for Seedling. Hope you guys understood everything properly.
Okay. Yeah, that's great, Diego. Yeah, very interesting. As I said last week, it's quite encouraging, the progress that Seedling has made in the past 3 or 4 months. And that's coming to fruition now, where we have the ability to offer seed round prices and access ahead of other launch pads for very promising projects like Lumi. And Lumi is a great project, and it's going to go places as well. And it's great to see as well that we've brought in more people, as you mentioned, onto the Seedling team who've been working very well so far. And we know that they're going to be very productive and very valuable members of the team in future. So overall, very, very encouraging. What I think I might do now is answer some questions that people have had with regards to the AMA so far. So I think there's been 2 or 3 questions. And I think as well, there's a couple that are better. It would be better for Herman to answer. Okay, so there's a question, just like Polkadot, if I contribute to the Cherry community and then upload it as a proposal, I can charge share from the treasury. Yes. In fact, as Herman mentioned a couple of times, I'm not sure exactly who answered that question because it was just copied and pasted into our group chat. But not only that, but if we're actually developing a separate ecosystem project that will allow people to basically come together and work communally for rewards as well, in a decentralized kind of way. And you'll be rewarded from the treasury and through other fundraising methods in that respect as well. So that's a very good question. And I think that it's something that, yeah, will actually go beyond what you might hope for in that regard. It's as I said last week, when I first spoke to Herman when I came on board, Herman's intention was always to make Cherry so successful to the point that the project itself outgrows the people who founded it and the people who worked on it early on. So the founders, myself, whoever that have been here a while, the project will be driven forward by the energy of the community and not so much just by a centralized management authority. So key to that is the collaborative reward bounty system that will be a separate project in and of itself, which will indeed reward people in share for the contributions that they make. Similar, but even probably better than they would in Polkadot. But there was a question from Brizio about tokenomics. I would actually just wait, because I know that Herman is going to discuss, and we've been working on discussing the ethos and thinking and analysis behind our tokenomics, the Cherrynomics as we call it. And I think that it's best if Herman, I think I'll ask him to give us a brief update on that next week. So he'll talk about it in a more skillful way than I could. So Brizio, thank you for the question. And if you could hang on till next week, then Herman will answer it, or maybe he'll answer it in the chat. In the meantime, if he does, I'm always watching the chat, and I'll tag you if he mentions it in the meantime. So at the latest, you'll have to wait maybe a week for the answer to that question. MN 0925, I just want to know, is Cherry Network or Cherish, excuse me. Sorry, I'll start again. I just want to know if Cherry or Cherish is planning to enter into NFTs. Yes, Marv will mention more about this now in a moment, but we have what are called Cherish Originals, and that's the Cherish take on NFTs. They're NFTs, but they are done in an even more dynamic way that leverages the unique capabilities of the Cherry ecosystem and the Cherry stack. And you'll be able to do more things with these NFTs than you will be with almost any other NFT paradigm. And then, okay, so I think that question is answered. Okay, one sec. Okay. HNZ asked a question there, and I wasn't really sure what exactly he meant. So, okay. So HNZ, I'm going to DM you after this call and ask you to clarify what you meant, and then later on, I'll either answer it myself, or if I can't answer it, I'll get someone else to the best of our ability as of now. As of so far in the AMA, that's all. Those are all the questions we've had. So what I'll do is I'll actually hand you over to Marvin. Marv's going to talk for about 5 minutes about what's going on with Cherish. Things are ramping up in Cherish, both in terms of the time frame, in that next month, probably by the end of the month, Cherish will be live. And there are more kind of things to say that there's absolutely no point in me saying them, considering the fact that Marv is about to start talking now. So I'll hand you over to Marv, and he can take it away from there.
Thank you for the introduction, Eoghan. Good to be seeing your face again. It's been a while. So talking about Cherish. Well, the last couple of weeks I've been talking a lot about extra content coming up for Cherish, so you guys can better understand what we are building and how it is going to be different from existing platforms. So that is something that is coming very soon. We have a lot of content lined up, but we wanted to structure it in a decent way so that we can get as many people to view it and to see it as possible. So we have a lot of content loaded up for you guys, so you better understand how we are structuring things and the architecture of the platform, the designs, the synergy, payment methods, and a whole lot more. So we can finally give you guys some more clarity on that. Very much deserved. Then in the background, it's not only just making content we're making a place so other people can make content. So we are hiring more engineers, as mentioned last week. This interview process is still going on, but we found some very suitable candidates to fill up some of the roles that we were missing initially. So this is looking very good for Cherish indeed. Then, if you've been following the Cherish chat, and I think I'll just post this in chat right now, we've been ramping up the onboarding and we've been having absolutely amazing results. I think I'll just post this in chat right now. It's a page we haven't really shared yet, and these are our highlighted featured creators. So creators we have a very close connection with that will help us with the development, giving us feedback and joining beta testing. So it's really exciting. I've not featured all of these yet on our Twitter or on the other social media platforms for Cherish, but if you have a look, you can see a whole lot that have not been added. There's a lot more people interested in Cherish or who have shown their interest for Cherish, but these are people we've got really solid connections and collaborations with, working together to make a more rounded and equal and better platform for anybody out there looking for a way to express themselves, but is not able to do so on existing platforms. That is about it. It's quite short but sweet for here at Cherish. So I guess I will leave it back to Eoghan and John, who have a quiz for you guys. Sounds good. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much as always, Marv. That was very encouraging. I think it's worth emphasizing how well the outreach to creators has gone. I think that the guys at the start were the guys as in Marv was leading the outreach, of course, because he's the project lead. And John was assisting, and Bobby as well. So thanks to Bobby again, as always. And I think at the start it was a little bit difficult to figure out exactly how to approach people. But I think that a lot of things have happened in the meantime. I was actually one of the things that Marv noticed, which was very relevant, was the like, for example, the changes to Tumblr and especially Instagram.
Yes,
I only used Instagram again for the first time in months yesterday, and it's completely changed. It's just all ads. You don't actually see any content from people that you're following.
That's because they've made a big switch from, before creators used to be creators and now creators are users, because the only thing that they're really selling is ads. And that's the only thing. And we really want to step away from that. And now I just realized I hadn't touched on the NFT part yet from the question earlier. So there's Cherish will have original NFTs. These will be rewarded to everybody who participated and in both one of the two pre-sales on Seedling and Cyberfi. And everybody who bought in the private sale as well. So these will be released once ready. We can't release these right now just yet because you do need an EVM for that. But other than that, you will be able to create Cherish NFTs independently on the Cherry chain as well. But that doesn't really have much to do with Cherish. But in generally, this will be a possibility as well. So I hope that answered the question. But as Eoghan said, we're really looking at other platforms and mistakes they are making. We have a really awesome article written by John coming out very soon that addresses our vision and our differences with a lot of these platforms. And we, at a certain point, we were really having difficulties like complementing the other platforms. We were working as a group trying to find something that the other platforms did well and that they succeeded in, and where we had to give them props for. But it's turning out to be increasingly difficult these days because everybody's just looking to get your eyeballs glued to the screen for a second longer, and it's not become a free thing that you use. It's compulsory, and we want to step away from that. And I'll end it there because I think I'll be droning off for a bit too long.
No, it's fine. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. So what Marv meant was that we're trying to compare different platforms and what they do, compare them to Cherish and how Cherish will operate. And of the major platforms that you might share content on, it was actually difficult to. We have a lot of different parameters, different criteria that we judge the other platforms on, and in the end, the vast majority didn't actually address any of the issues that Cherish is addressing. So it really is a big step away from how things like Instagram and Tumblr, the direction that they're going, which seems to be upsetting their users. We want Cherish to be something that the users enjoy using and that they get the most from, in a true to the ideals of Web3, and really exactly what the user wants. That's our focus at the moment, and we think that people will like it. So it's a very exciting time for that project. I think that's pretty much it. There are more updates and stuff like that regarding the actual core Cherry update set. I posted the diary in the chat. I think it's probably better, because we're actually running over time. It's probably better if people read through the diary. We're going to have a newsletter that will go out tomorrow, where we'll discuss more of what's going on. And then I think that when Herman's back on his feet, he'll also give us maybe some extra insight and some more peripheral information as to what's going on as well. Because I don't want to keep you with too much other details when I know that you guys want to get on with the quiz. So after the quiz is done and the results are tallied, I'm going to do the results from this week's quiz and last week's quiz as well, actually, because we didn't have time to tot up the results and announce that, I'm pretty sure. So, and as well, as I said before, by this evening, we should be able to resolve all of the outstanding prizes that have to be distributed. So that should be done in the next couple of hours as well. I think John has some interesting questions that he's going to post in the Telegram chat in a few moments. And from there, best of luck. And as always, I'll announce the winners in the Telegram chat this evening or in a couple of hours maybe. And then for all the winners that are tagged, please send me a DM. We're trying to be a bit more careful about this in future, because it's better if we staff members don't DM people first, but you can DM us first. That's fine. So, and that goes for other questions that you might have. I'm actually more friendly than you might expect. Sometimes I'm a bit direct when I'm talking to people in the Telegram group, but I'm actually if you have any questions, or if you need some advice or any thoughts or any constructive criticism, you can always reach out to me, and as long as we're nice to each other, it'll be a productive exchange. So if you win today, or if you've won last week, after I announce this in a moment, then please send me a message, and we'll get the prizes distributed later. Thank you all for joining in. Get well soon, Herman, and we're going to have more updates announced in the newsletter tomorrow, and we'll have some other updates which will be announced in the chat over the next few days as well. So thank you all for joining us, and I'll talk to you soon.